Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to be focusing our yoga class on using yoga, using the poses as a way to process our emotions. Each of the poses, the asanas, can be very powerful, both in a physical but also in an emotional way. So what we're going to be focusing on with this idea of processing emotions is getting into some continuous flows and really connecting to breath. Because that breath is going to be one of those key tools that we use to keep the mind present and connected to body. When we're present and connected, we can sort through the emotions. We can be aware of what's going on and see what triggers those emotions, and then just work them out through the breath. So we're going to be doing a couple different breath exercises, and again, really connecting breath to each of the movements. We're also going to be working with opening the hips because energetically, that's where we hold a lot of our emotional history and past. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to start seated, so get really comfortable. Maybe grab a blanket or a towel and sit up on that just to give the hips a little bit of a boost. You can double it over or even grab another blanket or towel to get you up even higher. Just make sure that you're comfortable. And then cross the legs, shift side to side, feeling the sitting bones really planted down into the blanket. And then just allow the legs to relax and the hands to fall softly on the knees or thighs. And then once you feel comfortable, lengthen the spine and begin to close the eyes. So as I mentioned, we're going to focus on breath. So without changing anything yet, just notice the pace of your breath as it is right now. Does it feel shallow, short, or do they feel deeper, longer breaths? There's no right or wrong here. The most important is that you understand how you're starting class, how you are coming to your mat today. And while we're here, just acknowledge what's happening around you, what's happening in the mind and the heart. Starting to take the position of a neutral observer, like a scientist observing an experiment. Staying open to the result and being present to what's happening. And now we're going to begin to intentionally change the breath. Again, the breath is one of the most powerful tools we can use to presence our mind, connecting mind to body. So as you inhale here, take a nice big inhale, fill the belly first, expanding the diaphragm, and then at the very top of the inhale, feel the chest expand. And as you exhale, let the chest deflate, and then finally the navel pulls back, letting the belly deflate. Inhale, fill the belly first, then the chest. Maybe even feel the upper back expand at the very top of the inhale. And then exhale, let the chest deflate first, and then the belly, the navel hugs back towards the spine. Again, belly fills, inhale, then chest. Hold for just a quick count at the top of that inhale. And as you exhale, let the chest deflate first, and then the belly. Good. And then just return to a normal breath. We're going to bring in Ujjayi. So the Ujjayi breath practice is also referred to as ocean breath because that's the sound that it creates in the back of the throat. It's created by just a slight closing off of the throat to really slow down that air and create an audible sound to the breath. This can be done with the mouth open, the jaw soft, and it's almost the same sensation as if you were trying to whisper your breath. It can be done with a closed mouth, through the nose, but avoiding the nostrils. So practice that a few times. Close the eyes if they opened, and just really tune into sensation and experiment a little bit. Give yourself the space to see what this creates. Maybe you feel silly, maybe it feels awkward, and just move past that and drop deeper down into the sensation. For me, it brings in a nice calming feeling as I deepen the breath and start to slow down the mind. Perhaps if this is a new practice for you, the exhales will feel easier. It's that same feeling as if you were trying to fog up a mirror in front of you. So just focus on those exhales and practice with the inhales throughout class. Good. And then we're going to use this breath, take this Ujjayi breath practice with you throughout class. And with the next inhale, bring the arms out to the sides and up overhead, connecting the entire inhale as you lift the arms up. At the very top of the inhale, the palms meet, and as you start to breathe out that slow, steady breath, draw the hands down the center of the body, down the line of the spine. And then inhale, start to extend the arms up. The arms are a reflection of the breath. And as you exhale, start to bring the palms together and descend the hands down towards the earth. One more time, slow and steady breath. Inhale, the arms start to rise. And exhale, the palms trace down to the heart. We're going to pause this time with the thumbs lightly touching the sternum, bowing the head forward towards the fingertips. And take a moment here, take a breath to set an intention for your class today. Perhaps around the idea of being the neutral observer of self, being open to what comes up in your practice, accepting of your body, of the thoughts and feelings that arise. Maybe even an intention simply around the breath. Setting an intention to stay connected to breath, breath to movement. Whatever it is, get clear on what you're focusing on today for yourself, making this practice individual and meaningful to you. Good, and then with the exhale, just release the hands towards the legs, blinking open the eyes. Great. And then we're going to make our way off of the blanket. So slide the blanket out from underneath you if you used it, and make your way into child's pose. So we're going to bring the knees about hips width apart, tops of feet to earth, and then sit back onto the heels and forehead lowers to the ground, walking the fingers as far forward as they'll go, as if you could touch the top of the mat. From here, draw the shoulder blades down the back so you're drawing shoulders away from ears, growing longer through the arm. And then plant the palms. As you inhale the next time, start to lift the hips off the heels, tuck the toes under, and press to downward facing dog. We're going to start with the knees really bent, bringing belly towards thighs.
And then from here, keep the same amount of length in the back. Just start to straighten the legs gently. They're not going to be completely straight, especially for this first downward facing dog. And really bring the awareness, bring the focus to the length in the back. And then reconnect to breath here in stillness. For the next few moments, for the next few breaths, take some movement. Bend one knee and stretch opposite heel towards earth. And then change sides. Inhale, changing legs, bending the other knee and stretching opposite heel towards earth. And then inhale, lift high on both tiptoes. And as you exhale, draw both heels down towards the ground. Not important if they touch the earth. Extend up again through spine. Draw shoulders down and away from the ears as if you are firming up through the armpits, suctioning armpits off and away from the earth. Navel hugs towards spine. On the next inhale, we're going to lift the heels, lift the sitting bones, and then roll forward to plank pose. So you're going to feel the upper back round, stacking shoulders over wrists. And then once here, extend through crown of the head and press the heels away from you. As you exhale, hug navel to spine, lift the hips, and press back to downward facing dog. Again, inhale, lift the heels, sitting bones, and then round the upper back, rolling forward to plank, shoulders stack over wrists like a high push-up. And as you exhale, navel pulls in, hips lift from the core, pressing back to downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, lift the heels and sit bones first, then roll forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. And then inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk to the top of the mat, taking several steps up and bringing the feet about hips width apart. Bend the knees, grab opposite elbows here, just letting the arms relax, head relax. And then just opening the backs of the legs a little bit more. Bend one knee just a few inches and ground through the opposite foot. Change sides, bend the other knee, and press a little bit more firmly through the opposite foot. Straighten both legs. Bring the hands to the shins. Halfway lengthen the back, so creating a 90-degree angle from spine to legs. Traction the spine away from the hips, away from the legs. And as you exhale, refold. Navel pulls in and arms just relax towards the earth. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Press into the shins gently with the hands. Use that pressure to extend through the crown of the head, getting the torso parallel to the earth. And exhale, just allow the body to release. The hands relax towards ground. Knees are softly bent. Inhale, one more time, hands to shins, lengthen spine, and exhale, fold. We're going to come up the same way, starting with the halfway lift. Inhale, and then extend arms out to the sides, rising all the way up to standing, lifting the fingertips to sky, and exhale the hands in towards the heart. Navel pulls in. Inhale, reach arms high. Exhale, dive forward like a swan dive, arms out to the sides, back is flat. So finding that 90-degree angle and then allowing the torso and arms to relax towards earth. Halfway lift, bring the hands to the shins again. Inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to plank pose. So one foot back, then the other, shoulders stack over wrists. As you exhale, lower knees and bring belly and chest to the ground at the same time. Elbows hug in close towards the ribs. Tops of feet plant. With your inhale, lift the chest. Hug navel to spine and grow light on the palms. So rather than forcing yourself up with the hands, we want to use the core to extend. And with your exhale, press the palms in, lift up onto knees, and press back downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. reconnecting back to that ujjayi breath, using down dog as an opportunity to reconnect to breath and intention. On an inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Down dog split, reaching heel to sky. Exhale, step through, right foot to right hand. Take a big breath in, lengthen the spine in the lunge. And with your breath out, bring the weight into that front foot, stepping all the way forward to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Hands to shins. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise up, find that 90-degree angle, and then come all the way up to standing. Arms lift, gaze lifts, and exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, navel to spine, flat back as you fold forward, find the 90-degree angle, and then continue down into fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant palms, step back to plank pose. Take an inhale in plank, strong core, navel to spine, reach through crown of the head and heels. And as you exhale, knees down, lower belly and chest to earth. Tops of feet plant, lift up into baby cobra, just the collarbones extend forward. And as you exhale, downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and take 3 breaths to recenter, reconnect. So as we go through this practice, just be aware of what thoughts, what feelings, what emotions come up for you. Always coming back to that neutral observer, so letting go of any judgments that arise around the thoughts or emotions. Just let them be what they are and notice them. Be aware of them. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up and back, down dog split. And exhale, step it through, left foot to left hand. Take a big breath in, lengthen the spine in your lunge. And with your breath out, step all the way forward to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold back down, exhale. And rise to standing, press into the earth with the feet. Lift halfway and then continue all the way up. Exhale, palms in towards heart. So we're going to do the same thing, just picking up the pace a little bit so we can really get into that breath movement rhythm. With the inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, fold forward, flat back. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant the palms, plank with the exhale. Take an inhale and plank. And as you breathe out, option to lower to earth or take chaturanga, bending the elbows 90 degrees. From here, cobra on the belly, or maybe straighten the arms for a higher cobra if your back feels ready, and then down dog with your exhale. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, step it through, right foot to right hand. Big breath in, long spine. Big breath out to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold back down, exhale. And then rise to standing, big breath in. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, big breath in. Exhale to plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Knees can be on or off the earth, bending the elbows 90 degrees like a low push-up. And then inhale, come into your back bend, cobra or even up dog, lifting the knees. And exhale, back to downward facing dog, tucking the toes. On your next inhale, extend left leg high. Step it through, exhale. Long spine, inhale and lunge. And exhale to fold, stepping forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold with the exhale. And lift up, inhale. Come all the way to standing. Exhale, palms to heart. Walk feet together now so the big toes are touching. And with an inhale, sit back to chair pose, arms up by the ears, knees at close to a 90-degree angle. You should be able to see the toes over the knees. Gather in the inner thighs, so squeeze inner thighs towards each other. Hug navel to spine, lengthening through the back of the body. Another breath here, maybe getting just a little bit deeper. Weight is in the heels. And then inhale, start to come off of chair, and as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, plank, and lower right into the chaturanga. Again, knees can be on or off the earth. Elbows hug in towards ribs, lowering to 90 degrees. And then straighten the arms, coming into high cobra. Keep navel pulling in towards spine. Tops of feet are on the earth. And with your exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, step it through, right foot to right hand. We're going to pause here. Get the stance wide across the mat for grounding. And with an inhale, extend the arms up by the ears, creating a 45-degree angle with the spine. And with your exhale, just sweep the arms back, connecting to breath. Inhale, reach the arms up by ears. And exhale, sweep them back. So only the arms are moving. The spine is stable. The navel's hugging in, supporting the back from core. One more breath in. We're going to rise all the way up to high lunge. So the arms come to the ears, and then extend the spine perpendicular to earth. Hug inner thighs in towards each other, navel towards spine, and breathe. With your exhale, plant the palms, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, extend left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Rise, 45-degree lunge, arms up by the ears, belly is hovering off that front thigh. And as you exhale, just sweep the arms back. Inhale, reach up. Keep extending through crown of head and pressing back through that right heel. Keep flowing the arms with the breath. Feel that front thigh working. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come all the way up to high lunge. Good. Holding here. Feel the inner thighs and hips hug in towards each other, facing to the top of the mat. Shoulders are soft and grounded away from ears. And with your exhale, plant the palms. This time we're going to step back to plank pose and lower chaturanga, that low push-up, but elbows in towards ribs. And then inhale, tops of feet ground, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 more breaths in down dog, again to reconnect, to steady out the breath and heart rate. On an inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, breathing out, walk feet together. We're going to come back into chair as you inhale. So bend the knees 90 degrees. Reach the arms up by the ears. Weight is in heels. You should be able to see the toes over the knees. Navel hugs in, gathering in the core strength, supporting the low back. Good, one more breath here. Then with an inhale, come to standing, straighten the legs, lift up, gaze up, and exhale, palms to heart. Good, so we're gonna do that again, speeding it up just a little bit, but make sure that you're staying connected and honoring your breath. So sit back, chair pose, inhale. Weights in the heels. Big breath in. Big breath out, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step back to plank pose and lower down chaturanga or all the way to the earth. Inhale, coming into your back bend, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Extend right leg, inhale. Exhale, step through. Rise, 45-degree lunge, inhale. Sweep the arms back, exhale. 2 more breaths just like that. Stay grounded through both feet. On your next inhale, rise up, high lunge, supported from core, so navel pulls in towards spine, press into right thigh, lift. And with your exhale, plant palms, downward facing dog, stepping right foot back. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step through. 45-degree lunge, inhale on the left side. Exhale, sweep the arms. 2 more breaths. The breath is reflected and mirrored by the arm movement. On your next inhale, rise, high lunge. With your exhale, plant the palms, step back, plank, lower chaturanga, or again, all the way to the earth. Rise up with the inhale into your back bend, and exhale, down dog. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or gently hop, top of mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in, bend the knees 90 degrees, arms up by the ears. And then rise to standing, inhale. And exhale, palms to heart. We're gonna do one more standing balancing series here before we start to move to the earth. So we're not a balancing series, just one pose. We're gonna do tree pose. So start with the feet together, big toes touch so they're grounded right underneath you. Feel the feet connected to earth, palms face forward, and shoulders draw down away from ears. Close the eyes here and just take a moment to reconnect to breath. And then open the eyes, gazing towards the earth. We're going to stay grounded through the right foot and bring the left foot into tree pose. So the foot can go right at the calf of that right foot, of the right leg, or all the way into the right thigh. So pick the height that feels right for you. Just avoid the kneecap, so we don't want to be on the inside of that knee joint at all. And then, bring the palms together at the center of the heart. Give a little bit of active pressure. Left foot presses into right leg, and the right leg engages and presses back into that left foot. Navel hugs in towards spine. Crown of the head extends towards the sky. Good. And then with an inhale, just start to lift the fingers and the hands up towards the ceiling. So slow movement, find a gaze on the earth to keep you steady and grounded. And that pressure between foot and thigh is really going to help with the balance. Maybe you'll feel some opening in that left hip as the knee extends towards the left side. And then from here, with your exhale, bring the hands to the heart and release that left leg down. Plant the foot, left foot right next to the right foot. And then we're going to change sides, so keep left foot grounded this time and right foot into tree, exactly the same height as you did on the other side. Find your focal point on earth and then activate through the legs. So press right foot into left thigh muscle engages and presses back into the foot. Palms up together at the heart, find your focal point and breathe. So you want to feel this right hip opening, which will direct that knee out towards the right side as well. We don't want to yank from the knee, we just want to feel the opening happen from hips and from that engagement of foot pressing into thigh. Good, and then from here, once you have your balance and grounding, lift the fingers and the hands just slowly towards the ceiling, testing your balance.
Good, and then from here with an exhale, palms together at the heart. Release that right foot down. And then gently just roll out the legs, ankles, shake out hips. And then we're going to make our way onto the earth into tabletop. So when you're ready, come on down. And then we're going to, once you're in tabletop, step the right foot forward towards the right hand. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand to the inside of that right foot. You may want to have your blanket or towel nearby, just in case you need a little bit of boosting up off of the earth. And then once you're back in this position, so the shoulders and the hands are on the inside of the right leg, we're going to tuck the back toes under, the left toes under, and just start to heel toe that leg back so the knee draws towards the back of the mat. You're going to start to feel hopefully some opening in the right thigh and in the front of the left leg, so in this hip flexor. Staying here with an inhale, reach the chest, puff the chest forward. You should feel this opening. If you need a little bit of a deeper extension of the pose, you can bring the blanket to the earth and then lower forearms to blanket, or you can lower the forearms all the way to the earth. If this is too much, you can even place the palms on the blanket to lift you up even more. Or you can bring this left knee closer in if you need to ease off the intensity of the pose. So take it at your depth that feels right, and we're going to hold for about 5 more breaths here. The right knee is hugging in close towards the right shoulder. And try to keep the spine as long as possible rather than torquing over towards the left. Let the neck relax and be soft. 1 more breath here. With an inhale, bring the hands to the earth. Set the blanket off to the side, and we're going to bring the right hand to the outside of that right leg and start to walk the front foot towards the left edge of the mat and down towards left heel. We're going to lower the right hip and knee towards the earth, so come forward and sit down. We want a nice deep angle in this front shin, at least to start, and we want to be on the top of that back knee and foot. If the right hip doesn't sit down firmly on the earth, slide the blanket up and underneath that sit bone so that you're supported and grounded here. We want to make sure we protect the sacrum and low back as we come into this hip opener. If the hip is on the ground, then you don't need the blanket. We just want to make sure we're firmly planted. If you need a little bit more opening here, heel toe or bring this right foot up a little bit higher, closer to parallel to the top of the earth. If you're doing this, make sure the toes are actively flexed towards kneecap just to protect this knee. So again, find the depth that works for you. On an inhale, reach the chest forward, square off towards the front of the mat. And as you exhale, slowly start to roll down, bringing forearms to earth. Maybe even stacking the hands, bringing the forehead to hands. Letting your exhales take you deeper. We want to make sure that the hips are staying square. So you're going to draw that left hip down towards the earth, just slightly, subtly. And breathe into the hips. We're going to hold this one for just a little bit longer than the pose we did just before this one. When you're ready, maybe even bring forehead all the way to earth, extending the arms forward. If ever you need to ease off the depth of the pose, you can bring the forearms back to the earth, maybe even the hands all the way up underneath shoulders. So just again, you can adjust this We want to pick a depth that we can sustain for time, and we can sustain the breath. Good. Count out 3 more breaths. And then with an inhale, lift the head off the earth, bring the hands up underneath the shoulders. And then we're just going to start to come back into tabletop. So you can sit onto that right hip a little bit more. And then just bring the legs underneath you. And we're going to change sides. So we're going to do lizard on the other side. So step left foot forward by the left hand, and then bring the left hand to the inside of that left foot. Square off the hips towards the top of the mat, and maybe scoot that right knee back a few inches so you start to feel that opening through the front of the back thigh, the front of that right thigh, and the back and inside of this left leg. Square off, chest and shoulders to top of mat, long spine. And then as you breathe out, you can stay here. You can grab a blanket, lowering forearms to blanket, or bring the forearms all the way to the earth. Again, we want this right knee hugging in close towards the right shoulder, squaring off the hips. The neck can be relaxed here, and breathe. And just another note, on this back knee, if ever it's too much pressure or the earth feels a little bit too hard underneath the knee, just roll over the edge of the mat, giving it a little bit of extra padding. And again, we're going to hold for about 5 breaths, getting into this opening. Keep the breath steady and deep. Keeping the mind focused on the breath so that it stays present. And although this may be an intense opening, try to see if you can stay aware of the emotions and thoughts that arise for you. Again, it's all an experiment, just to see what bubbles up from the surface, what we can be more aware of, more conscious of in our bodies, in our minds, and our hearts. With an inhale, bring the palms to the ground, set the blanket off to the side. Left hand comes to the outside of that left foot, and just heel toe the foot towards the right edge of mat and down towards right knee. Left knee and hip are going to come forward and sit onto the ground, bringing left thigh parallel to the left edge of the mat. We're going to be again on the top of that back leg. If you need more padding, roll over the edge of the mat so the top of that foot is on the ground. And then bring both hands underneath the shoulders, square off shoulders and hips towards the front of the mat. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to fold straight forward over that front shin, bringing forearms to earth. Again, to intensify the opening, bring more of a 90-degree angle in that front shin. To bring less, heel slides in towards right hip. And if that left hip is hovering off earth, grab blanket, slide it underneath the hip to support the sacrum, the low back. So we're going to start on forearms, reconnect to breath. And then maybe stack the palms, bring forehead to the hands. And remember, just try to ease that right hip towards the ground along with the left hip. So we get an equal opening. And close the eyes and breathe into this pose. Again, we're going to hold it just a little bit longer than the lizard lunge we just did. Become aware of the breath again. Making the inhales and exhales steady and deep.
We're going to hold here for about 5 more breaths. So if it helps you stay present in the mind, then count the breaths. Maybe eventually making your way all the way forehead to ground, arms extend out. Or if it becomes too intense, ease off of the depth of the pose by walking the hands underneath shoulders and lifting the head off the ground. Make sure that you're picking a depth that you can sustain and breathe in. And in this stillness, in this silence, just allow your body to open up, to find ease where it can find ease, to find release where it can release. Make sure the jaw and face muscles are relaxed, the neck is soft. Good. Just about one more breath here. And as you inhale, just slowly start to peel yourself off the earth, lifting head, walking hands underneath shoulders. And then sit onto the left hip and bring that right leg around gently. We're going to sit onto the ground, extend the legs out, and just let the legs kind of wiggle out. So just lift one hip, roll out legs, ankles, toes. Just notice how your hips are feeling, your legs, thighs. And then we're going to make our way onto our backs in a Baddha Konasana. So scoot yourself forward just so you have enough space to lower onto. And then we want the feet about 12 inches or so, a foot away from the hips. If you have tighter hips and you want a little bit more support, bring the towel or blanket and just hook it on the tops of the feet and around behind the ankles. And then once we're down, that's just going to support the legs a little bit, give them a little bit more grounding. So once you're comfortable, bring the forearms to the earth behind you, lower onto the back, and then bring head to mat. So the closer the heels are to the pelvis, the deeper the stretch will be. And if you have this support, it will be less intense, so that kind of lowers the intensity of the pose. If you want a higher intensity, then just set the blanket off to the side, bring the heels a little bit closer in towards the pelvis, and let the legs just open up with gravity. So let gravity help to create that opening in thighs. And then we're going to bring the hands away from the sides, palms face up on the earth. The shoulder blades are tucked underneath the back so that you feel open and expansive in the chest. Pick a comfortable position of neck, adjust hair, clothing, whatever you need to. And we're going to close the eyes. And we're going to come into a Shavasana in this Baddha Konasana, in this bound angle pose with the legs. So take a big breath in through nose and an open mouth exhale out. As you breathe out, just feel the body relax and soften to earth. Again, big breath in. Open mouth, releasing, exhale out. So just let yourself melt into earth. If ever the leg, if this opening of the hips gets too intense, you can slide the heels away from the pelvis or even bring the bottoms of the feet to the earth, lifting the knees and coming out of the pose entirely. Otherwise, stay here. And we're going to do a few rounds of breath retention. We're going to be creating a cycle of breath where we inhale for a count, hold at the top of the inhale for that same count, breathe out for the same amount of time, and hold at the bottom of the exhale for the same count. So just take a reset breath in through nose and out through mouth. And then we're going to get started. So breathe in slowly and deeply and count until the very top of the inhale, then hold for that same count.
As you exhale, just easily let go of the breath, releasing all of the air by the same amount of time. And then hold at the bottom of the exhale. Try to keep the face and jaw relaxed. And then as you're ready, go right back into the count. On the inhale, maybe deciding to shorten or lengthen the amount of time in each stage, holding at the top of the inhale and breathing out and holding at the bottom of the exhale. So we're going to do this a few more times, just at your own pace. Again, you can always increase the amount of time in each of the 4 stages or lower it. We want to make sure we're not building more tension as we do this. So starting and just continuing on in this cycle. Great, and at the bottom of your next exhale, after you've held for the same count, just release this breath retention and return to a normal breath. Just taking some time here to acknowledge how that breath retention practice affected you. With your next inhale, bring the hands to the outsides of the knees and slowly draw the legs together, bringing the bottom of the feet to the earth. Exhale, hug knees in towards chest, and then roll to one side, coming into a fetal position. And then with your inhale, press the palms to the earth and easily make your way up to seated, taking a comfortable cross-legged pose just as we started class. Sitting up on a blanket or towel if that will help you get more comfortable. Once you're up, close the eyes, lengthen the spine on the inhale, and just soften the shoulders, the belly, the legs with the exhale. We're going to take some time as we close out class just to observe, just to acknowledge what happened during this class in each of the poses. Acknowledge any thoughts, distractions, emotions, feelings, or sensations that came up. Every time we practice, we give ourselves an opportunity to know ourselves deeper, to increase our self-knowledge, to increase our awareness of what's going on within us. With your next inhale, extend the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bring palms together and draw the hands into heart center. And just closing out with a final breath, honoring yourself, your body, your mind, your heart. And I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.